Hi guys, today we'll be looking at what's in my opinion the best gun for the assault class and my favorite gun in the game, the Gewehr 43. Alright, so Battlefield has been released for a week now, for those playing it with Origin Premium, I think it's called. But since tomorrow it will release for anyone, I figured I'd make a series where we take a look at some of the guns and the classes. Starting off today with the assault class, which is in fact my favorite class in the game. I love the versatility of the guns that are available for the class and the ability to destroy tanks and other land vehicles fairly easy. Now to get to the topic of today, the Gewehr 43. To start off, a little bit of backstory, a little bit of history of the gun. I think most of you probably know the gun already, since it has been featured in most, if not all, World War II games of the last years or decades. It's a semi-automatic rifle of German origin. The gun was made as a reaction on the Soviets using semi-automatic rifles, which were called the SVT-40 rifles, if I'm not mistaken. The previous version of the Gewehr, the G41 or Gewehr, I can't pronounce the name, guys, sorry if I'm really pronouncing it badly, but I'm not a German, I'm sorry guys. But the previous version of the gun, the G41, was quite unreliable, so the G43 was supposed to fix that problem by using a simpler gas-operated mechanism, which they kind of stole from the SVT rifle. Now let's go quickly over the stats of the gun. As you can see, the rate of fire of this gun is 300, which is one of the lowest of the assault guns, except for the Selbstlader, which has a rate of fire of 225. Having said that, for what the gun does, it's more than enough actually. And I never felt I couldn't fire fast enough to kill enemies in any situation, which I did actually experience a few times with the Selbstlader. Fire modes, as the name of the type of rifle suggests, it can only fire in semi-automatic. Fully automatic fire is not an option for this gun. It can hold up to 11 bullets, but you need specialization detachable magazines. Otherwise it will only hold 10 bullets in each magazine. Now let's compare the other stats of the gun with the other semi-automatic rifles. To start off with the M1A1 carbine, as you can see the M1 has less damage, but more control and higher rate of fire. Also a little bit more ammunition per magazine. In my opinion, this actually is also a very fun gun to play with, but the M1 requires 4 body shots to kill, while the Gewehr only needs 3 body shots. The Turner has slightly less damage than the Gewehr, but the rate of fire is higher. For me, the higher damage of the Gewehr makes the gun win over the Turner SMLE. The Selbstlader has a little bit more control, but way less rate of fire. The magazines are way bigger, and that's a big plus, but still the rate of fire is actually it's really low. You'll notice when you're playing. In some situations you'll notice how slow the rate of fire is. So therefore I think the G43 is a better gun than the Selbstlader. Then we also have the Gewehr 1.5. I haven't unlocked this gun, as you can see, so my opinion on this one is maybe not really reliable. But I still think, as you can see, it has a little bit less damage. I still think I will prefer the damage of the Gewehr 43 above this one. Let's quickly go over the specializations. Let's do this real quick. You have quick aim, 33% faster aiming down sight versus high velocity bullets, which means your bullets will fly 10% faster. The second throw is enhanced grips, which pretty much gives you way more hipfire accuracy, versus custom stock, which improves your accuracy in aimed fire while moving. Then on the third throw you get detachable magazines, which gives you way faster reload times and 1 more bullets for each magazines, versus light and stock, which makes you move 60% faster while aiming down sights with your weapon. Then the fourth throw is recoil buffer, which means your weapon will recoil less upward, so less vertical recoil, versus barrel bedding, which means your accuracy is improved in aimed fire while you're stationary, so while you're not moving. The build I prefer is as follows. I pick quick aim because basically it helps you react faster, so I'll take that. In the second throw I'll take enhanced grips because the hipfire of this gun is really terrible if you don't take this one. With this specialization selected, it's actually quite okay. It's not, you're gonna have trouble winning hipfire fights versus submachine guns and assault rifles in really close range, but still. Then for the third throw I select detachable magazine because you only get 10 or 11 bullets with this specialization. So that means you will be reloading quite a lot of time, and the reload time without this one is really slow, so I certainly prefer this one. And for the last one, in my opinion, the least important one, I think both are okay, but I choose recoil buffer because this buffs your weapon in any situation. The other one only buffs your weapon when you are stationary, so I just prefer this one. You get more control, which is always nice. Et voila, that's my specialization build. If you want to copy, of course it is personal preference, so see what works for you. So I went over the stats of the gun, the specialization, but now why actually is this gun my favorite gun in the game? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. The first one is that when I play a game, I'm that kind of person that wants to be good at everything, right? So I don't want to be the best in one specific area. I just want to be good at everything. I want to be really versatile. And that's what this gun in this game brings to the table. It's excellent in mid-range battles. It's quite good in long-range battles, even more than quite good, maybe. And definitely with the 3x scope. And with the right specializations, it's actually also really okay in short-range battles. You probably won't win that often against assault rifles. Submachine guns may give you a little bit of a struggle as well in short-range battles, but still, it works. You can win with this gun in short-range battles with the right specializations. To be honest, all the semi-automatic rifles share these qualities, but I think the G43 wins overall. I wanted the self-slaughter to be more of a competition for the G43, but the low rate of fire just hurts his gun too much. In my opinion, the weakest point of the G43 is the low ammunition per mag. But as I showed you already, with the right specialization for faster reload, that problem is more or less fixed. The second reason why the Gewehr is the Gewehr 43 is my favorite gun is, well, in my opinion, it looks extremely good. Of all semi-automatic rifles I know of World War II, it's probably my favorite. I also like the SVT-40, the M1 Garand. Unfortunately, those two guns didn't make it to the game yet. Also, I like the M1A1 carbine. And of the guns in the game, well, as I said, the M1A1 I like a lot, but also the self-slaughter I think is pretty good looking. The only problem I have with the M1A1 is low bullet damage, as I explained earlier. And with the self-slaughter, the thing is, when I'm playing the game, I want to feel immersed. So I want to feel like I'm that soldier holding that gun. And what always plays in the back of my mind is, if this was real life, I would no way use the self-slaughter. The reason for that being that it was extremely unreliable when exposed to mud. So they only use it for aircrew. And only 1,000 were created, I think, of that gun. It's a stupid reason, but when I'm using that gun, I don't really feel immersed in a game. That's also a reason for me why the G43 is more, well, it wins over the self-slaughter for me. So that pretty much sums up my opinion about the Gewehr 43. So for me, this is the best and most fun gun currently in Battlefield 5. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, like and subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of videos. Let me know in the comments what you think is the best gun for the assault class, or just what's the best gun in general in the game. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. The previous version of the Gewehr, the previous version of the Gewehr, the previous version of the Gewehr.